Coming up on the program, Endeavour Primary School in Flagstaff opens. We take a ride on the Waikato River and meet the new director for the Wallace Gallery in Morrinsville. Kia ora, welcome to Central News for Monday, the 2nd of February. I'm Hilary Entwistle. Endeavour Primary School in Flagstaff, Hamilton opened the school gate to the public today. The $16.7 million investment from the Ministry of Education promises to be like no other school. Principal Marcus Frake says the school will mean a lot for the greater community of Hamilton.
I think for our community to start with, brings together like a long-time vision for the community, and that now the Flagstaff community have their school for their children, and there's a genuine pathway for the children to move from the early childhoods in the area into our school and then hopefully on to the junior high school when that's open next year.
Bay of Plenty Regional Council is warning people not to swim or play in beach outfalls, stormwater drains or ponds following the region's long period of hot, dry weather. Regional Council water scientist Paul Schools says because of the weather, many stormwater drains and ponds have had little or no flow, leaving the water at risk of bacterial contamination. Water at Harrison's Cut outfall onto Papamoa Beach, where families often swim and paddle, is being regularly monitored for health risks. Tauranga City Council has deepened the channel across the beach to allow better tidal flow up the drain to improve water flows. Mr Schools says people should not swim or paddle there. Chiefs and All Blacks flanker Sam Cane's looking for a big season in 2015, and it's to come as no surprise to those that know him. In a 2014 campaign blighted by injuries, his best sequence of play saw Cane manage just 10 successive games. But having rested up after the traditional extra break awarded to All Blacks, who made the end-of-season tour, the 23-year-old returned to work this week, already sensing a stealing of attitude among the squad representing the two-time Investec Super Rugby champions this year. Now for our region's weather, Hamilton, a few showers mainly in the morning and the wind will be turning into a westerly. Your expected high is 26 and an overnight low of 12. The rest of the Waikato, showers becoming isolated in the morning and a southwest change in the morning. Paeroa 28 and 14, Matamata 24 and 14, the Aomutu 26 and 12, Tokoroa 24 and 11. Tauranga, morning showers, then fine with westerlies. Your expected high is 28 and an overnight low of 15. The rest of the Bay of Plenty, morning showers clearing and becoming fine with westerlies. Te Puke, 25 and 12. Now for the marine forecast, West Coast, Raglan, changing early Tuesday to a southwest 25 knots with rough seas. Easing later Tuesday to a westerly of 15 knots. Your high tide is at 10:51 in the morning. East Coast Bay of Plenty, it's a westerly of 20 knots and the showers are clearing and becoming fine. High tide in Tauranga is at 7:47 in the morning. Just ahead, we take a ride on the Waikato River. Welcome back to Central News on TV Central. Some say the best way to experience the beauty and tranquil water of the Waikato River is by boat. And for the past 3 years, the Waikato River Explorer has been offering people the opportunity to cruise New Zealand's longest waterway. Anne-Marie spoke with Managing Director Darren Mills to find out how the Waikato River Explorer got started.
Well, we have this amazing river, we have a city that's growing, we have beautiful hinterland, waterfalls, native bush, just 5-10 minutes from the centre of population. We're right in the middle of everywhere, and what better place to run a cruise and charter business? It's a no-brainer, really.
Are there specifications about the Explorer that enable you to go to different parts of the river than, say, the Waipa Delta was able to go to?
It has to be reasonably quick. Also, you can't draw too much, i.e. you can't have enough of the boat in the river to be a problem when it's really shallow in the summertime, like today. So it has to be reasonably quick, has to be able to be navigate the shallows. You have to fit enough people in to fill a bus, i.e. 54, which is what we can seat, and has to have facilities, has to have a bar, a way of cooking, so barbecues on the stern, and has to look aesthetically pleasing. And we were lucky enough to find all this in the first or second go, so it was good.
How far up the river can you go?
Well, technically we can go up as far as Cambridge from Puketi, but we don't, because we just cruise between Hamilton and Mystery Creek pretty much.
The Waikato River is a complex and ever-changing flow of water. How challenging is that for you as a skipper?
Not very, if you know what you're doing. So it takes a bit of practice. Somebody coming in from the sea, like I was a ferry boat driver before I came through here and set this business up. And if you're coming off the Waitemata Harbour, come onto the Waikato River, you wouldn't know what you're doing, because it takes a bit of effort, because you've got constant current flowing. There are lots of hazards in the water, which aren't charted because the sandbars change all the time, so they don't chart rivers. So you've got to know where all the hazards are, and we had our little speedboat, went up and down, did the recce's and found all the channels, and then of course you get the sandbars. So in the summertime, when the river level is very low and the power company is conserving, you need to know where the deeper channels are. And then of course, once you've got all that sorted, you've then got people floating. You've got floaters. So you've got to know where the floaters are normally, and you've got to be wary of those, because often they swim towards you rather than swim away from you. And then in the winter time, you've got logs coming down, and you've got to put it this way: you can't ever take your eyes off the off straight ahead. You can't take your eyes off the river.
Are you well supported by the locals of Hamilton, or are your clients mainly tourists?
Well, we made the strategic decision early on to align ourselves with two very important sites. One, of course, was Hamilton Gardens, with 1 million visitors a year, and recently some major awards and some huge investment from the Hamilton City Council. We knew that that was the best place to locate our operation, run our cruises from, and Mystery Creek Event Centre, which of course is a massive site, which is where we are here, and they provided us overnight facilities and access to restaurants and wineries, and have given us the second arm of our business, if you like.
For more information, go to waikatoexplorer.co.nz or check out the Waikato River Explorer Facebook page. And our next story, the 5 years the Wallace Gallery in Morrinsville has been hosting many local and national artists' work. Leah Murphy has been director for almost 3 of those 5 years, but a new year means new beginnings.
We've got a really cool program lined up this year with great exhibitions, as well as some of our events that have been popular. Our biggest news is that we've got a new director, Justin Jade Morgan, who's joined us this week. So it's going to be lots of different changes, and I'm sure he'll bring a great new skill to the gallery.
Because you've actually been with the gallery for almost 3 years. What have been some of the highlights of those years?
Working with a team of volunteers has hands down been the best. We have about 30 volunteers who help run the gallery day to day. These are people who are just doing it out of the goodness of their heart. Really awesome mix of people from 15 to 82 with all different backgrounds. So running that team's been a huge highlight for me, as well as kids workshops. We've had 6,000 kids through over the 3 years, and everything from sculpture classes to art meditation to search and find and learning about art. So yeah, those have been the two standout things for me.
I bet you have some funny stories of children and their art meditating and their...
They're actually really well behaved. The teachers always say, how do you do it? But I think they're so excited to be there, and it's such a treat that they really do engage and focus, and they really do want to learn. So yeah, no, they're always fine when they come and visit.
Well, Justin, I hope you've got some good kid skills then for that kind of thing. Absolutely. So you will obviously spend the next couple of weeks settling into your role, but do you have any kind of ambitions coming up for the Wallace Gallery?
At the moment, I think it's running really smoothly. I think Leah and the trustees and the volunteers have done a beautiful job. So I'm actually interested in getting down to looking at what's actually happening, how it's operating, and then building from there. So at the moment, I think I'll keep that secret.
Watch this space, eh? Have you always been involved in art, or?
I've been involved in art for around 15 years now. I started out obviously as an artist, and I'm still a practicing artist now. I've set up a number of project spaces and also worked in a number of different public galleries like the Gavette Brewster, and I've also been the director of the New Zealand Academy of Fine Arts in Wellington, and looked after various different spaces in Auckland or worked with different organisations.
Director of the New Zealand Fine Arts, that would be quite a challenging role.
It's actually not too dissimilar to the role that I'm about to take up with Leah. The function of the gallery is very similar, although it does have a 135-year history, being one of the first galleries in the country, so it was very intriguing.
Yeah, I bet. What kind of artworks do you do yourself?
At the moment, I'm making a lot of small sculptures and photographic-based works that are dealing with light and reflection and found objects.
Mm. Now, you guys do have a bit of a dinner party coming up, I understand.
We do. It was such a hit last year and it's back by popular demand. So this is Guess Who's Coming to Dinner Take 2. The concept behind that is people turn up at the gallery and have drinks and nibbles, and then they find out where they're going to go for dinner. So we've got around 30 lovely hosts all around Morrinsville who host a dinner party for 8. So they'll then go to the house for a 2-course dinner and then come back to the gallery for dessert and coffee and prizes and things like that. So a really fun night, and of course having that element of surprise also makes it more exciting.
Well, that sounds like such a fun way to see art and see Morrinsville. Do you have people coming from out of town? And
we do. Last year we had a lot from Hamilton, a couple from Tauranga, obviously out the wider Matamata Piako region. People definitely wanted to become part of it. It's an exciting evening. We had about 250 people last year, so we're hoping to every year get a few more people. So, yeah.
if you'd like to find out more or be a part of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner on March the 5th, visit morrinsvillegallery.org.nz. Just ahead after the break, we chat with Emily Rice about going solo and our horrifying road toll. Welcome back to Central News. 2014's road toll is not something to be proud of for the Western Bay of Plenty.
So for the Western Bay of Plenty, which includes the Tauranga area, there were 14 fatal crashes and 16 people lost their lives on our roads last year.
What were some of the contributing factors to those incidents?
So of the 14 fatal crashes we had last year, 9 of them were vehicles crossing the centre line and colliding either head-on or into other vehicles going the other way. That's a significant increase on what we've had previously.
So what is the next move for the police this year? Is there anything that you're going to try and do to improve the situation?
Look, in terms of our outcomes last year from previous years, we haven't radically changed what we're doing. So we're going to have a high visible presence on the roading network. You will see marked police vehicles. We're going to be enforcing the speed limit, breath testing drivers. You'll see a lot of checkpoints at all hours of the night and day. It's business as usual. But I guess if you wanted a step change, it would be drivers need to take responsibility for their actions. It's not a police issue alone. It's everybody that shares the road needs to participate in this.
Is it worrying for the police though when we have such a high road toll?
It should be worrying more for everybody using the road network, drivers, passengers, cyclists and pedestrians. We have to pick up the pieces, but we're a small part of the motoring public, so everyone should be worried.
As you said, the majority of these crashes were caused on by head-ons from people crossing the centre line. How does that happen? Are people actually crossing the centre line that often?
There are a number of contributing factors to the ultimate outcome of a crossing centre line crash. Fatigue has been a significant issue in a number of them. Alcohol has featured. We thought cell phones were an issue and texting in one of the crashes. We've since ruled that out. But certainly fatigue and alcohol and not paying attention to where you're going.
Was that the young girl that passed away in Te Puna? With the...
Yes.
So, I mean, what can we do if somebody's going to cross, is there a way we can actually protect ourselves?
Look, my advice to people would be drive defensively. You always need to focus on what you're doing. That's one of the reasons cell phones should never be used in a car. You need 100% of your concentration on what's going on around you in the driving environment. So when you see a vehicle coming towards you that just doesn't look right, it's weaving in its lane or it's touching the centre line, you need to be prepared to brake or to take evasive action. You can't do that if you're not paying attention. So your number one rule is to pay attention all the time, 100%.
And sometimes I see people quite often crossing the centre line when they take a corner. Is there a safer way that we could be driving around corners?
Well, the lines are painted on roads as a bit of a guide. There's a clue in that. And yes, we do see people cutting corners. It's not a safe way to drive. It's even less safe if there's a car coming the other way. Not a lot of the crashes have been caused by people deliberately cutting corners, but it's not a good way to drive. If you allow your skills or your concentration to slip in small areas, then things roll on from there and it just gets worse.
When you say most of these crashes were caused by fatigue, what do you mean by that? Like these people had been driving for a very long time, or they had finished shift work, or?
Shift work doesn't seem to have been a major issue. Sleep deprivation, so people who've been unwell or for a variety of lifestyle choices, either stress-related issues or work-related family issues, or some of them who have driven a long way. Lacking in sleep catches up with them when you're driving your car. And some of the research shows that these fatigue-related crashes more often happen on roads you're familiar with because your brain switches off. Your subconscious says, I know this road, I know what's happening, it's too easy to switch off, and before you know it, you're nodding off as well.
In our last story for this evening, Emily Rice is a young musician who released her first solo EP recently. Before that, she was part of the duo We Stole the Sun. I spoke to her at Festival One about the differences of working with someone and going solo.
The solo stuff, it's under my name, it's my music, but I work with this band and there's 6 of us. And it's very collaborative, and they all bring their own flavour to it, I'm not I like them to bring whatever they've got. So I've got Matt plays saxophone, and he just he came in last week with his effects pedals and stuff, and it just I was just it took it somewhere completely new and fresh again, which is cool. And then I've got Anna Lovey's on bass this weekend, and she's just been rocking up a storm. And then Sam and Andrew as well, just the whole band is great. And Guy, I've got keys coming in for our release tomorrow as well, which would be cool. So it's with the duo, I guess what I was saying before, how we because we've been playing for about 3 or 4 years now, so we hadn't played much this year, and then we're playing it here at Festival, so we were we had a few practices, and it just so easy because it's just 2 of you, and it just made me appreciate how simple and it can just be such a simple 2 people singing together, whereas
really
with the
strip back.
Yeah, and our voices, since we've sung together for so long, they blend, and it's real easy kind of thing. And it's just so fun because it's so you don't have to stress too much kind of thing. But with the band, there's so many things that you're thinking about. But at the same time, as soon as you start performing, you're just you're in performing mode and you just have fun. So.
And I guess just there more pressure on you then as a performing solo because it is just you can't rely on.
Yeah, well, and definitely in terms of I've always been with my Sam will definitely agree with me on this. My banter between that was always my weak point, especially a few years ago kind of thing. But having a duo, having 2 of us leading it was okay because as soon as I was fading or whatever, he'd just jump in and say something, and we could tease each other, because it's But so I've kind of got to lead a bit more with my band, which has been really cool. I've learned a lot with that. Yeah.
And you'll have to definitely do that when you're overseas.
Yeah. I feel the last 3 or 4 years since I've been doing lots of live gigs and stuff, it's been a real good preparation time for me. So
It's quite funny because you don't even think about that. Like, you know, there is that kind of performance side as being an artist and all that. Do you enjoy that, or do you?
the performing, that's what I love that. Yeah, it's as soon as I'm singing, I'm in my happy zone. It's just the like between songs where I'm like, okay. But it's all good. Like it's all good.
So what inspires you then? What inspires your writing and even the style of music that you have?
Well, I guess inspires me definitely a lot of other musicians that I look up to or have, you know, like Kimbra's album has been on repeat in my car for the last for ages. I'd mix it up, but yeah, especially the last week I've been cranking that, so get lots of inspiration from her and Sting and like his arrangements and the music I grew up listening to with my parents and stuff, and which was Sting and James Taylor. Like it's I don't know, so much. What are they called? The Crash Test Dummies.
Oh wow!
Yeah, yeah, you know the one. Yeah, and like the Tarzan movie for some reason, like the soundtrack of that really, like I'm pretty sure that's when my music, I became obsessed when I was like 10 years old or something. Really? And I was just like, I was like, dude, there's like that Scooby-Doo-Dab-Dab-Doo-Doo-Dab-Dab, and that like as a little kid I just danced around the house to that. I'm pretty sure that's when I like became more weird, obsessed with music. I guess.
Wow, because that is that jazz kind of.
Yeah, so I did a year of jazz. I played saxophone all through school, and then I did a year of a jazz. And then I decided that songwriting was kind of what I wanted to do with the jazz flavor. So, and now it's kind of gone with the jazz flavor, also with pop and soul and mixed alternative, and there's all these weird sounds. And, like the people that I collaborated with the EP, like my friend Callum, I'd send him a track and he'd send it back with all this other stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, I would never have thought of that, but I love that. Maybe not that. Like you can, because it's mine, so I'm able to like, if there's something that takes it away from where I think it should be going, then you know you can kind of own it like
I apologize from the bottom of my weapon heart. I can never give enough away. As I close my eyes and wait for you to leave me here, just hear me out before you walk away.
You can follow Emily Rice on Facebook. That is the program for today. If you would like to contact us, you can via our Facebook page, centralnews.tv, or email us news@tvcentral.co.nz. Join me again tomorrow night for more stories from the Waikato and the Bay of Plenty. I'm Hilary Entwistle. I hope you have a lovely evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.